Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this video we are going to check out VeChain's price chart, and we are actually going to do a deep dive into the recent price action and answer a very important question, and it's this: how bullish exactly VeChain is, given the fact that in the recent move we had about, yes, I believe a 40% rise. Spoiler alert, the answer is very bullish. So let's start first by counting the waves starting from this point to about this high. And here is a very important top tip Elliott waves for you. You see, in the last phase of this move on the upside, from here, let's say to about this point, as you can see, we are kind of having constantly overlapping of the waves. Now, this can happen. In most cases, we are having in here, odds are a series of wave 4 and 5s, indicating from this point, we have probably started a series of 1-2s. And here is how I like to argue that. Let's actually do this. Okay, so I'm thinking this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in form of an expanding ending diagonal. And I have checked the rules already. All of them do apply to this thing being a complete 5 wave. Also, I believe we can say this is yet another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far, we are having 3 sets of 5 waves on the upside. Now, in my opinion, this is another one. And yes, probably this is another one. This is another one. This is another 5 wave. And from here to about this point, we are having also a complete 5 wave as well. Question is, on what degree are these waves? Well, here is one scenario that I am considering at the moment. Let's zoom more. Okay. Let's start counting waves from, yes, this point. This can be 5 wave up into a wave 1, probably a flat structure into wave 2, and then good move up into wave 3, either an ABC or maybe like a triangle, not really that important, into wave 4, and this overlapping of the waves, I think it's actually ignorable. And then what are we having? Probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up into wave 5. There we go. And now let's zoom out a bit more. So I said this is another 5 wave, and also starting from here to about this point, we are having another impulse. So there is a chance that this is a 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave 3, correction for 4, another move on the upside into wave 5. Now, this is the key, pay attention. You remember earlier, I said this can be another 5 wave on the upside. Well, it can be, but if you want to be a bit tough and you want to really zoom in more and see what is happening in details, well, okay, the fact is that we are having kind of an A, B, C in this structure. So what is it that I'm trying to say? I'm trying to tell you there is a chance that this is going to be like 5 up into 1, correction for wave 2, another move into wave 3, correction for 4, and yet another move on the upside into wave 5, and the start of this wave 1 is actually going to be right around here. Why is this important? Because now you can kind of safely say, look, this is 1, this is 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave 3, correction for 4, and you know what? I'm expanding leading diagonal into wave 5. And this suggests, since we are able to find a complete 5 wave to about this high, now it's time to have a correction structure on the downside in VeChain. Now, if you want to say our correction ended in here, then okay, what you want to see is a rather strong move up in order to take this important high, because at that point we are going to say with a lot of confidence this is just a simple ABC zigzag, and this move is going to continue, and I do think it's actually going to continue. Why is that? Because this can be starting from the lowest low in here, about 2.4 cents, a wave 1. We talked about this before, an A, B, C, flat into wave 2, a strong 5 wave into wave 3, and what are we having right now? Probably correction for 4, and you know the story. We're gonna get soon, hopefully, another move into wave 5. Now, one very important pattern that does have a habit of happening into a wave 4 is, you know what, a triangle structure. So you can say maybe this is ABC down into A, and then we're gonna have some more chopping around in form of basically ABCs in every single wave of this triangle, and then we are going to have another move into wave 5. The point that I'm trying to make is this: I think downsides at least for like the next 24 to about 48 hours in VeChain, are kind of limited. And sure, maybe we are not going to have this triangle. Instead, we can have like a WXY in form of a double zigzag, and this might actually get you to somewhere around these areas, about like 2.9, 2.8 cents. That's not important. The point is, after this is over, I'm counting on another good move on the upside. So this is basically for now my primary case suggesting this move. Odds are it's actually not over yet. Now let's zoom out more and talk about the overall scenario that we are allowed to consider, starting from the lowest low, about, let's say, 1.8 cents. So we talked about this specific possibility, I believe, also in the previous video. We can say this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, and I know this is a truncated wave 5, but it is possible into a wave 1, and then we are having a correction down into wave 2, and the current move on the upside is going to be a big one into wave 3. And what are we going to have next? Correction for 4, another move up into wave 5. And what happens after this whole 5 wave right in here is over? You know it. Even if we are bullish and optimistic, we are going to get kind of a deep move on the downside. And do not get me wrong, this is not going to be a bearish sign at all. In fact, assuming that we are able to, in this phase, identify all the right structures, in here can be a fantastic buy and also long opportunity for VeChain. So this is one possibility that at the moment I am considering. Can we have another scenario? Yes, but that is going to be pretty similar to this one. Why? Because you can argue maybe the end of our wave 3 is actually not going to be in here. Let's just do this. Okay, excuse me. And stretch this one as well. There we go. You can say, okay, this is a 1 and 2, but followed by that, we are having probably another 1 and 2, but on a lower degree relative to this thing. And then we're going to get a very, very strong extension in VeChain into wave 3, 4, 5, which is going to be overall into this larger degree wave 3, and then correction for 4, another move into wave 5. Question: what's the difference between this possibility and the previous one, suggesting we are having like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? This is going to be much more strong of a wave on the upside in VeChain. Okay, they are very similar, but this one is more bullish. And that brings me to the next possibility. You see, in every single chart that I'm analyzing, I usually like to consider having a deep move down starting from the current point, or maybe like just a bit higher. However, in VeChain, I may not be able to consider that if I want to remain bullish. Why is that? You see, if I want to consider having a deep move down from the current point, okay, I think my best shot at finding a 5 wave is going to be if I say we're going to have starting from the lowest low about 1.8 cents and expanding leading diag, which looks like this. This is our initial move up into wave 1, correction for wave 2, big move on the upside into wave 3, and it has to be bigger than wave 1, correction for 4. It's going to be bigger than wave 2, and also unlike a normal 5 wave, in here we should have overlapping of the waves. It's very important to understand, and this is our final move up into wave 5, which must be the biggest wave in this whole structure. And for the sub waves, you know it if you are a regular viewer. 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5. There we go. And yes, for wave 2 and 4, we can have different scenarios, not really that important. Let's say like sure, ABC into 4 and a WXY into wave 2. But if you want to go 100% according to the rules, you need to kind of consider having ABCs. For me, I do like to be flexible with the rules and say maybe in one of these waves we're gonna have a WXY. The world is not going to come to an end in that case. Okay, now let's go on the live chart and see what is happening. If you want to say from the current point or just a bit higher, we're gonna have a very strong move down in VeChain, then I think your best shot at finding a 5 wave is if you say this is 1, this is 2, 5 wave up into wave 3 to about this point, correction for 4, another good move into wave 5. Question is, do all the rules apply to this thing being an expanding leading diag, since in here we are clearly able to find overlapping of the waves between our wave 4 and 2? Well, by the first look, I can absolutely tell you that wave 4 is bigger than wave 2, and wave 5 is probably the biggest wave in this structure. The question is wave 3 bigger than wave 1 or not? let's measure it from this point to about here. And by the way, is our chart on the regular scale? The answer is yes. So we are allowed to measure waves in here. Is wave 3 bigger than wave 1? As you can see, the answer is by a decent margin. Actually, no. So what is it that I'm trying to say? I'm trying to tell you, if you want to consider this thing, wave 3 is ending up to be the smallest wave, which is not allowed in Elliott waves. So this scenario is basically not allowed. And this, my friends, is the key. You see, every single bullish or bearish scenario should have a very important invalidation point. And what's it going to be for this one? Well, based on all the things that we talked about in today's update, I'm gonna say what you do not want to see in VeChain is a move down from the current point in order to take this important low about, let's say, 2.4 cents. Why? Because at that point, honestly, you are really not able to find a complete 5-wave from here to about the highest high. So in VeChain, I'm going to tell you, number one, we are looking very, very bullish, and the fact that this is a very strong move on the upside, which is a characteristic of a huge wave 3, is definitely an optimistic sign. But that doesn't mean that we should be blindly bullish, okay? We should also consider a very important invalidation point for our scenarios, and it's going to be for the bullish ones taking this important low about 2.4 cents. As long as we're not taking it, I think we are looking optimistic and good to go. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in VeChain's chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.